February the 16th, 2024. That's kind of a two-part video. One is what we're talking about here. Then I'm going to play a video from Texas Governor Greg Abbott today, and they're building a National Guard fort that will hold about 2,300 people to be stationed in Eagle Pass, Texas, just south of there, but it's going to expand out both north and south from Eagle Pass. It's going to allow the soldiers to be on a base, not in hotel rooms, and where they need to be. Some of these guys were stationed an hour away. Now they're all going to be put in place there, and I'm going to call it Fort Texas. But anyway, I'm going to play that entire interview with Governor Greg Abbott on the border with the head of the Texas National Guard and a lot of their security people there. You'll see it here after this. Now, going back to this Fannie Mae Willis trial in Georgia, it's about disqualifying her and the prosecutor, her boyfriend, from the Trump trial, and they're trying to get it to where he cannot have real estate license in New York and do things like that. Just trying to shut down and attack him from every direction. He lost a case today that will be appealed to the Supreme Court for $337 million or $370 million on another bogus claim. So they're attacking him from every direction. But the Trump lawyers are asking a lot of questions to Fannie Willis, you're seeing here, and to Mr. Wade, the prosecutor that, again, is her boyfriend. And it does seem to be nitpicking. And when they're asking about the finances, again, they know what they're talking about. They know the answer. What we're hearing is kind of small numbers, $2,500 that Wade is getting paid back from Miss Willis for their travel and vacations and hotel rooms and all that. But he says he has no records of the payback. Now, what's not coming out in the court so far in these 2 days is that he's been paid $600,000 by her. Now, he's taking her on his credit card on vacations all over the planet, right? And he says she pays him back in cash. Now, it doesn't sound that bad when you're talking about $2,000 or whatever, $1,500 here and there, 3 or 4 times. But again, the lawyers know why they're asking these questions. And so what we're seeing now is she's paying this guy $600,000 to prosecute Trump. They're on the same team, which is already conflict there. He's paying for all of her stuff and saying that she's giving him cash back. They are hiding a lot of things. Again, the Trump lawyers know it. I think that's one of the key takeaways from the case is that they're trying to prove not only are they not fit to continue the trial because of some of the disqualifications, the lovers getting together, $600,000 involved, attacking one man, you got judge and prosecutor sleeping together. Really, think about that. But it's a lot more money than what we have seen them talk about. It's a big deal, and there's a lot of lying going on. And so when the lawyers know the truth before they ask you, all you're doing is perjuring yourself. That's what I've got to say about that. There's some other things we're going to see, and we'll see what happens as this thing continues and what will be the repercussions. The judge seems to appear fair at this point. But I want you to watch the rest of the video about Abbott, the National Guard, and a couple of other folks that are down on the Texas Eagle Pass border. I think they're going to call it Fort Eagle, technically. But I think it's a great idea. And they've shut down that section of Texas. And now with the base there, they'll be able to expand further along their border. And they talk about that. They also talk about the fact that now the cartels are having to move people into New Mexico, Arizona, and California. We knew that would happen. But guys, something that's starting to become very interesting to me about the cartel situation, if you go back to Eric Holder, right now the Mexican military, they're stepping and running over landmines, full military operation against the Mexican military. again, what did Eric Holder do? Who is running the cartels? You know who I'm talking about. And they always say Mexican cartels, but are they really? Watch the video, guys. Again, I think it's going to be Fort Eagle. Check that out. And that's my opinion of what the lawyers are trying to dig out in this Fannie Mae trial here, Fannie Willis trial. They, again, nitpick. They bring up multiple lawyers to basically attack the same area. And that's just a wearing down technique. And you saw the response from Miss Willis yesterday, kind of blew it apart. Very good sign of guilt. We're watching this, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.
Time to expand our border security capabilities. We are building a new Texas Military Department base camp that allows the Texas National Guard to increase and to improve operations in this area. What you see now is the first stage of construction that's already begun on what is 80 acres of an area to be built out for this base camp. From your camera view, it goes all the way down the edge of here to those trees, all the way to the back, close to where the river is. On this side, just back behind you, about 50 feet is where it stops. This will increase the ability for a larger number of Texas Military Department personnel in Eagle Pass to operate more effectively and more efficiently. It will house up to 1,800 soldiers with the ability to expand up to 2,300 if we have surge needs. It will include individual rooms for soldiers. It'll provide a large dining facility, recreation, computers, things like Wi-Fi. But for now, National Guard have been scattered across this entire region in cramped quarters, away from fellow soldiers and guard, sometimes traveling long distances to be able to do their job. What this is going to do is to dramatically improve the conditions for our soldiers. I want to thank the men and women soldiers behind me right now, as well as their colleagues serving up and down the entire border. Texas would not be able to respond the way that we are responding if it were not for the heroes of the Texas National Guard. Before this effort here, they've been living in conditions that were atypical for military operations. Now, because of the magnitude of what we're doing, because of the need to sustain and actually expand our efforts of what we're doing, it's essential that we build this base camp for these soldiers. It's going to be good for them, improve living conditions, improve the quality of life, and improve and sustain a very strong morale for our soldiers. What this will do, also a little bit more specifically, is going to consolidate our forces. Again, as opposed to being scattered around many different places across this region, they will be operating out of one place. It will amass a large army in a very strategic area. It will increase the speed and flexibility of the Texas National Guard to be able to respond to crossings. We all know what's been going on at Shelby Park. Actually, what's going on in Shelby Park is now less than what was happening a month ago or 2 months ago or a year ago, definitely. But what we need to be able to do, and that is to make sure that the National Guard has the flexibility and the proximity to any type of crossings north or south of Shelby Park, so that they will be able to move swiftly to those locations and be able to impede the ability for anybody to cross illegally. This will organize substantial forces also to expand the razor wire barriers that are going up. In this area, listen, we've seen the effectiveness of the razor wire in Shelby Park, where crossings have gone from 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 people a day to less than 1% of that crossing illegally per day. And that's because of the effectiveness of the razor wire. Our goal is to make sure that we expand the effectiveness of that razor wire to more areas along this border. Having the soldiers located right here, right by the river, they're going to have the ability to more quickly be able to construct that razor wire barrier. And this will reduce the travel time and costs of current living conditions. Listen, as I pointed out earlier, some people who are in the Guard, they may be 50 miles away, an hour away, having to take an hour of their time to get here, and then an hour of their time to get back home, meaning that basically they have not 24 hours in a day, they have 22 hours in a day, plus 2 hours of travel time. We're going to make their lives better, but also make the National Guard more efficient by having them right here at the scene where they need to be or close to where they need to be. And I want to assure you, and the General can expand upon this in more detail, the cost of this project are going to be minimal. The reason for that is, yes, it's going to cost some money to be able to build this out, but when this is built out, there will be a reduction of the costs that is being incurred already. What's being incurred already in all these hotel rooms and other locations where the Guard are staying is going to be more expensive per person than what it's going to cost to house the Guard here. And so this will improve the quality of conditions and lower the cost of those conditions. So this is going to be a win-win for the National Guard and for the state of Texas. And the last thing I'll say is that the efforts of the National Guard, they're working. Those aren't just my words. Those are the words of experts who have analyzed the data of what's happening on the border here, and they are saying that the resistance that the Texas National Guard has provided is ensuring that there is a reduced number of people crossing the border. So illegal crossings are down, and coincidentally, razor wire barrier is up, and we will continue to muster the efforts that are needed to make sure that Texas does the job that the United States Congress has mandated. The United States Congress has mandated for barriers to be built on the border. Biden is not building those barriers. Texas, however, is doing the job that Congress has mandated in law. And for that, I want to express my gratitude to the Texas National Guard for stepping up and getting that job done. Now I'm going to call up the Adjutant General, General Seltzer.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, the Governor is employing every available resource and strategy as he executes his known right to protect and defend the borders of Texas. What I want to say, first of all, is this is an expansion of what we're seeing from the Shelby Park events. We've shut down Shelby Park. This base that we're setting up here, Forward Operating Base Eagle, is an 80-acre complex that extends along the water in the Rio Grande and is situated about 6 miles south of Shelby Park. This base camp allows for the housing of 1,800 troops. As the Governor has said, these troops will be housed in their own individual rooms with a minimum of 1,800 square feet of space. There will also be a surge capability for an additional 500 troops. Should we need to deploy the Texas Tactical Border Force to this area, we can deploy and house them right here on the border. In support of our troops, there will be facilities like a 700-seat dining facility. There will be weight and cardio center, a recreation center, and laundry facilities. To take care of our troops, there will be facilities where we can house our medical, psychological health, and also our chaplaincy programs. And for operations, we'll have 3 command posts on site. We'll have weapons storage rooms. vehicle maintenance bays, and also a FAA regulation helipad. But these are not the only operations that we're expanding under the governor's orders. In the coming weeks, we'll be executing a 4-phased operation to expand north and south of Eagle Pass, putting up additional barriers in order to fortify the border, as the governor has said, to the south and north of Eagle Pass. Additionally, we are adding 3 more fan boats to the river. We're also expanding our drone program and our radar truck capabilities. Again, thank you, Governor, for your leadership. The governor, the Texas Military Department, and the Texas Department of Public Safety, again, is using all available resources and strategy to protect the state of Texas. Thank you, Governor.
And now the Texas borders are my banks.
Good afternoon. I think the key thing you want to take away from this is that what we're doing by building this is we're providing a better quality of life for the soldiers. We're doing it, saving the taxpayers of Texas at the same time, while ensuring that we become even more efficient by having more time on target with these soldiers. So I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about the numbers just for a minute. All right, prior to coming on, as many of you have heard, I spent many years in the Border Patrol, well over 23 years. And if you would have told me that Texas was going to be able to achieve what they've achieved just in the last year alone, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it myself, right? Even knowing what my capabilities are. But the very fact that you look at one sector in Tucson, Arizona, and every day for the last month and a half, that sector has out-apprehended and had more crossings than the entire state of Texas, right? If you look at 3,000 to 5,000, there was a single day when there was over 6,000 people that came through that border right there in Eagle Pass. And to see those numbers decrease the way they have, at the significant number they have, to where we've gone to 1% of what was crossing a month and a half, 2 months ago, I think it's phenomenal. It's a testament of what these soldiers are doing, what DPS is doing, and achieving what the governor has set out for us to achieve. And so I think what you're going to see is we're doing what you call gain, maintain, and expand. We've gained control of this area. Now we're going to maintain that control as we continue to expand those operations to bring that same level of reduction across the border in the state of Texas. And Governor, I applaud you for your leadership and the moral courage to stand up and do what this administration is not doing. It's just absolutely absurd to believe that we have to fight the federal government daily. You know, so it's either do the job that you've been mandated by Congress to do as the federal government, or just get out of the way and let us get it done, because Texas is going to protect Texas. And I thank you for that, Governor.
Thank you to Mike Banks, the Texas Border Czar, who, as you all know, and he just said, he served in the Border Patrol for 23 years. But the point I want to make is just during his time here today, he has spent more time on the border as Border Czar of Texas than Kamala Harris, the federal Border Czar, has spent on the border in Texas. Last thing is, once again, I want to express my gratitude to General Seltzer and the Texas National Guard for going above and beyond to make sure that they are showing the way that Texas will defend itself from the lawlessness that's been created by Joe Biden's refusal to follow the laws of the United States Congress and secure our border. I'll take a few questions.
With the decline in crossings, why do you think this base is necessary?
Listen, we have been successful in reducing crossings in Shelby Park. One thing that we know is the cartels and the migrants will explore areas both north and south of that park. If we don't maintain and expand our defense, those migrants and the cartels will exploit those openings. We want to ensure that we deny the exploitation of those openings. Second is, as we all know, come springtime, there's going to be additional caravans that are making their way through the southern and central part of Mexico, deciding where they are going to be going. We want to make sure that when they come to the crossroad about are they going to go to Texas or are they going to go elsewhere, they will know the wrong place to go is the state of Texas.
You credit the razor wire for the decline. You don't think Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's meeting with Mexico had anything to do with that?
Of course not, because as everyone knows, it's not Mexico who controls the border. It's the cartels who control the border. The cartels operate completely independently, and they'll do whatever they want to do. If they want to cross, they'll cross. regardless of what the leadership in Mexico says. And because the cartels have realized they're having a harder time making money, facing the resistance in Texas, when there are gaping openings in Arizona, New Mexico, as well as California. And so, as is typical of almost any human being, if there's an easier way to get the same thing done, they're going to choose the path of least resistance. The cartels are choosing the path of least resistance.